coach at BYU.
Tonight, and we really do appreciate it. Reminder, it could be you joining us here next week. Just go to BYUCougars.com/Sitake Show Mondays at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time to request your free seats. Then come be a part of our show and show your team spirit to BYU fans around the country. And we encourage fans to join the conversation on Twitter using #Sitake Show. We want your questions and comments for Coach Sitake and Matt Hadley tonight. Yours may make it on the show. All right, with our housekeeping now in the books, let's get the show started by bringing out the former fullback, the BYU man from way back. He is the head coach of the Cougars, Kalani Sitake.
Scare everybody.
I hope it doesn't get old for you. This is a great crowd, great energy here tonight.
Yeah, great crowd. Can't wait. See you all on Saturday. Should help us out.
BYU back home at LaVell Edwards Stadium, where you want to be for any game night, but a big game night like you've got coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows how we struggled last weekend, and I think the best remedy for it is to be home with our family, and you know, it's a great time to just play in front of our home crowd and so we had to get this game out of the way and just make sure that this never shows up again. You know, it's tough. I apologize to the fans for that showing up, but that's me as a head coach. I got to make sure that this doesn't happen ever again.
Let's also give credit, though. We'll tell 13 or 14 games in, but tough to imagine too many teams being better defensively than LSU was on Saturday night.
Oh yeah, really good talent, and I mean, we knew going into the game that they were going to be really good, and they were going to replace some of the guys that were graduated and moved on to the NFL, but we didn't help ourselves. This was to see kind of where we are as a program and as a team, and to see how we measure up to the big boys. And I can't really tell you how we did it, other than some of the stuff that we saw in the trenches. I mean, the stats don't look that great, but when you watch the film, our guys are holding their own. You know, they're holding the line of scrimmage on D-line and O-line, but you know, it's hard to evaluate it when it was such a different game in the negative part for us. You know, we feel like we're trying to chase plays and trying to chase points the entire time, and it was a difficult thing to evaluate. But we know that we're way better than that, and so you know, if you had told me that we'd be down, you know, we'd hold them to 14 points at halftime, I'd take it. You know, and they had 20 points and 8 minutes left in the game, I'd take it. You know, so what we need to do is just try to make sure that we score more points and find a way to win games. Yeah,
where do you hope to see maybe the most improvement on offense in particular this weekend?
Well, just play like we've done, like we've seen in fall camp, and like we've seen through the off season, like we've seen in spring ball. You know, we are way better than this as a group, and we've seen it. It would be another thing if we didn't see Tanner Mangan making some great throws and some of the great plays that we were able to make and advance the ball in the run game that we've done in fall camp against our defenses. So that's going to be the goal, and if it means that we have to find a way to get the best 11 and be the most effective offense, and that's what we're going to do, and that's the focus. And Tata Tai, and he understands it, and our players on offense understand it. And there's a sense of urgency to get this thing going.
You mentioned urgency. Crossroads can come at different times in the season. An early one has come for you now. You're just 2 games in. You get a real good chance to see what you guys are made of here on Saturday night, I think. Yeah,
and let's play great on all 3 phases and see how we measure up, because I feel good about our chances, you know, if we do that. And Utah's a great program, and they're bringing a great team here with a lot of speed and athleticism. And you know, you can't get the LSU game back, but what you can do is make sure that you take out your frustrations on this week. That's all you got. And so that's going to be the plan. But you know, we're not that far off as far as the talent. We just need to make sure to put it all together. And it just seems like everything that could have gone bad in that game happened, and it was you know, then it had a snowball effect, and we just need to stop it and make sure that we respond to adversity better within the game so we can have a chance to still win.
All right, that's our look back. A look ahead is coming up next. As we head to break, we want you to know that you can enjoy a full hot breakfast buffet dinner Monday through Wednesday, a kitchen, and a large grassy backyard along the Provo River Trail, all at the Residence Inn Marriott in Provo. When we come back, Utah Week is here. Coming up, the coach helps us preview the annual rivalry game. This is BYU Football with Kalani Sitake. BYU Food to Go's convenient location at 2191 North Canyon Road in Provo makes bringing popular BYU foods to your next event easy. Everything's ready when you need it at the drive and load pickup. You drive in and they load no matter the weather. And stop in the on-site creamery for great BYU chocolate milk and ice cream. BYU Food to Go, bringing campus to your table. Call for details, 801-422-5001.
Hashimoto's is the #1 cause of low thyroid in America. But the problem is it's often overlooked. We don't want a patient just to come in and then leave and then keep coming back to us. Our goal is to get it to where they can control their condition for the rest of their life.
If you have symptoms such as depression, fatigue, headaches, or an inability to concentrate, you may have low thyroid caused by Hashimoto's disease. Red River Health and Wellness can help with a treatment plan remotely or at any one of our locations.
I take the road less traveled, run free, unwind, unravel, someplace outside with lots to do. Green trees, red rocks, and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, funshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun's gonna shine on me, sun's gonna shine on me, sun's
see and out on our viewing and listening audience. And at 1-1 on the season, BYU is back home to host Utah. Rivalry week has arrived. Kalani, your perspective on the game is unique. As a BYU fan, a BYU player, a Utah coach, a BYU coach, you've kind of seen it from a lot of different angles. And this week is not, like you said, in that little bit, just like any other week.
Yeah, I mean, it's the connection with the program there. And then even with me removed from it, you look at all the families and the friends and the people within the state, you know, that cheer for their side. I mean, it's pretty obvious you're either one or the other. And so, I think you know, for my connection personally with Kyle and with the program, and just reminding everybody that he played here at BYU, you know, so we have a good connection on both schools, and then just a unique perspective from me being a coach there. But this game is not about the coaches, and it's not about the fans. This is not working. Looks like my looks just ruined the microphone. But yeah, the game's not about the coaches, and it's about the players and the fans having fun, and you know, we'll see what happens. But I feel really comfortable and just honored to be part of this rivalry, and the role that I have in it as a head coach now at BYU. And I think that the players don't really need to be reminded of it because it happens naturally. But I think that they need to understand, and our players are really in tune with our fans, and they need to understand what our fans' demands are and what their expectations are. So hopefully we can meet them. Since,
as we all know, you were a BYU fan before you were a BYU player. When you were up at Utah those many years coaching against your old school, your alma mater, you were there to do a job, you were paid to do a job, but were there ever any thoughts about your position in the rivalry from where you'd been as a BYU guy?
Yeah, I mean, so you know, when I was at Utah, I proud of my background at BYU, and never really shied around about it, and just proud that I played here and that I followed BYU and I was a fan of BYU, and I still was. Just that it was, you know, that one game when selfishly I was trying to win because I was getting paid that way, you know. But it feels natural now because I grew up a BYU fan. I still love Utah and my connections there and my time that I spent there. But you know, this game it feels more comfortable now that I'm here in blue and want to win this game, you know, and want to win the rivalry. But there's a lot of appreciation and respect on both sides, and I've been there, and it's the same thing, you know. So everywhere I've been, just the fans have just been really classy, and dealing with my perspective as a head coach now at BYU and getting a lot of support from different places. And I think it's okay for us to have this be a good rivalry and something that could be healthy for all of us.
Kyle says it's a little unusual to spend as much time with BYU's coach in the offseason as maybe he did this year, but you guys are good friends and will stay that way.
Yeah, I mean, we played golf together and hung out, and we keep in touch. And I think it's hard to go. I mean, he's a mentor of mine. So, you know, I spent 10 years with him as an assistant, and 6 of those as a defensive coordinator, and spent a lot of time with him. And there's a lot of things that we've shared, and so that friendship would never be broken, you know. But I appreciate him and I love him, you know. But this is one of those moments where I love him, but I want to beat him. So that's okay. But it's the same thing from him, you know. Yeah. So it's.
So now that you've been around it as long as you have, what do you think is the right way to treat the build-up to this week and treat this week?
Yeah, from me as a head coach.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about the game, and it's important. Every game is different and unique, but the preparation for this week, we had a great practice this morning. You know, the guys were focused, and man, I wish we had that especially on the offensive side last weekend, because it would have been a much better result for us. And
so it felt good, looked good.
Yeah, it all felt good, but you can sense that the players they understand this game and they get it, and I don't think that you can I don't think it's good for you to just try to push it under and say it's just a regular game, because I don't believe in that. You know, this is all that matters right now, and so our focus will go into it. But you have to understand that you have to work hard and in order to get what you want, you know, and our guys are showing a lot of maturity, especially coming off of a horrible outing last week. You know, they really want to get out there and play better and show our fans. I've said before that our players, I've never seen a team or a group of players that want to win so much for their fans. and this is one that the fans want, and our players definitely feel it.
Utes played just the one game, you've played two. What do you make of Utah so far through the one game they played? Beat up on an FCS team pretty good in their opener.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of talent. They've been able to reload on a lot of different places, and it just shows a lot of what they've done with recruiting. And, you know, they have a very talented quarterback that can use his legs, and he has an accurate arm. So it's going to be a tough task, but, you know, we feel good about our chances. We feel good about what we have. And, you know, I think they played a really good North Dakota team, too, at the FCS level. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it's hard to judge everything on one game. You know, I doubt that they're just banking on the fact that our offense didn't do well in the first two games, and they're just hoping that shows up. I'm pretty sure they're preparing for our offense to do much better than what we've been doing the first two games.
Now, BYU, in the BYU-Utah rivalry, Utes are on a pretty good roll right now, but even when one team has a bit of an edge over the other, the overall trend is close games. 16 of the last 19 rivalry games decided by a touchdown or less. No matter what rivalry you want to go to around the country, that's an amazing run where pretty much every game is going to go down to the very end.
Yeah, it just shows how important the game is for everyone, you know, and regardless of whether you're at home or on the road, these games usually end up coming up, you know, going down to the wire. And so we're prepared. We just want to take advantage of every second we have on the clock and give ourselves the best chance that we have to win.
That was one of the all-time classics from John Beck to Johnny Harleen.
Yeah, I was on the other side of that.
And more to come, the Andrew George overtime touchdown. And, you know, the emotions in this game are obviously the fans feel it, players feel it, coaches sometimes really feel it. Last year, the Utah game was maybe one of the first chances. Oh, the Arizona game, you're pretty pumped up too. But that Utah game saw you fired up in a really good way for your guys and backing your guys, and that's what comes out in this game.
Well, that's just, you don't, I wish the cameras wouldn't follow me around, but the, I was just kind of trying to get the ref to hear my, and that was me being sarcastic, so, yeah, just.
Now, we can't predict that from you, but we won't be surprised if it happens again.
Don't watch me during any games, because I get in fan mode, you know, and so, yeah, hopefully I have those moments, you know, on Saturday, and where you become a fan, you get a little crazy, and they start beating on your chest. I was wondering why my chests are always sore after these games.
That's why. That's the reason.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not my signature move or anything. It's just you just get excited, and for me, I get really excited for the players because they work so hard for this, you know, and you see all their hard work. You see it all come together on the field, and that's why there's a lot of frustration for the first two games because we're way better than this. And so I'm looking forward to being a big cheerleader and not sarcastic, but more excited, you know, for all of it. But I just want to be able to just get involved and cheer our guys on because that's what they work so hard for.
We want to see the happy head coach on a Saturday night. So
yeah.
In our next segment, Matt Hadley will be joining us. Your outside linebacker, former safety, sometimes a kick returner. What would you say about Matt Hadley, who's now in his senior season as a BYU Cougar for you?
One of the best athletes on the team. He is a football junkie, so he'll do whatever he can to help the team win. And we've asked him to move from different positions. I mean, he was a starting safety, and we moved him to a linebacker position at our bowl position because we needed someone there, and he stepped up. And he's a little undersized, and so we challenged him to gain some weight, and he's done that already. And you know, he's starting to come into his own. I think that no matter where we put the kid, he was going to find a way to help us win games, and I'm looking forward to see what he can do this weekend.
All right, stay with us, folks, for Matt Hadley. He'll be coming up next. As we head to break, we at Ken Garff Honda of Orem have a brand new dealership. Come see our new showroom floor located on University Parkway. Ken Garff Honda of Orem. We hear Cougs. He is Evergreen State product, Matt Hadley, and he is in Studio C talking to you and taking your questions next on BYU Football with Kalani Sitake.
160,000 miles. That's, on average, how often you'll use your car insurance. But what if you could get help with more often? And you could also save a couple of bucks on clothes or at restaurants. Skip the line at the DMV. Even get rescued roadside. You can when you're a member and your insurance is AAA. Insurance that's not just insurance.
There are many reasons people prepare. They prepare because the winds blow, and the waters rise, and economies fail. But the most important reason people prepare, they prepare because they care. For over 30 years, Emergency Essentials has been helping families prepare for whatever the future brings. Learn more at beprepared.com.
There's not so much a BYU Sports Nation dance, per se, but Jerem can't stand it when it's really quiet, so he'll turn on some music, and then it's just like, just move the shoulders a little bit.
He gave you a dance move? What in the world are you talking about?
And I'm looking so just not cool right now.
He did that for the cameras. That does not happen. This would be Spencer's. It'd be the stanky leg. Okay. Not mine, Spencer's.
That's what we do. We just want to relax.
You're on a hidden camera show.
Surprise!
That's awesome. Thanks, you guys.
You having a good time? Hey, thank you.
What a cool thing that you guys are doing.
That is the gift of a lifetime.
You!
My fault? Your fault.
You're right, it's my fault. Maybe both of us?
Just the two of us.
Welcome back to BYU Football with Kalani Sitake, with your host, Greg Wrubell.
Welcome back inside Studio C, where you can be a part of our live audience every week. Come on out and support the Cougs by requesting your free seats at BYUCougars.com/Sitake Show and use hashtag Sitake Show for a chance to see your question asked during our Q&A sessions coming up in just a bit. All right, he was a prolific offensive player in high school. He's been a safety, kick returner, and now linebacker here at BYU. He is the second brother in his family to play for the Cougars, and he's here with us now tonight. Please welcome to the show, number 2 on the roster, number 1 in our hearts. He is Matt Hadley. Good to see you. How are you? Good to see you.
How are you?
You bet. Well, I've been wanting to ask you a bit about Connell, Washington. But is it Connell or Connell?
Connell.
Connell.
Yeah.
So people say Washington State, and they're going to think Seattle, or they're going to think maybe Spokane, or maybe Tri-Cities. And Connell's kind of in its own little place, where you're kind of close to Tri-Cities, but explain where it is you
Yeah, so we're about 20 miles, 20 to 30 miles north of Tri-Cities, heading towards Spokane, actually. So we're kind of in the middle there. But yeah, it's a small town. Just most of the people there are farmers, or, they work at like the post office or the grocery store, and that's pretty much it.
Did you like, I mean, you might not have known anything else, but did you like living there?
Yeah, no, I did. I mean, like you said, I didn't know anything else, but I loved it. The opportunity that I had to be able to, oh yeah, look, there's some pictures right there. To be able to grow up and do this kind of stuff, it was hard work, but it taught us a lot, and so I loved it.
Kalani, would you say the Hadley boys were country strong then?
Oh yeah, I love them. I mean, you forget Matt also played running back here for a short time, and he's just the ultimate team guy and a great teammate for everybody. And he has, the mustache is nice and beautiful too. So, but I don't know if his wife likes it.
She doesn't. No, she doesn't at all. I actually just trimmed it up though a little bit. You might not be able to tell. It's still pretty long.
It's a dress code, right? The dress code is a neatly trimmed mustache.
It's coming over the lips, so I had to take care of it.
Want to stay compliant, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Now Spencer is he had a bit of a mustache going for himself too here at some point.
He did. At one point. Yeah, he did. It's not as good as mine. He actually had to color. I probably should color mine because mine's a little more blonde, but he really colored his just to try to make it pop a little bit more. But even then, it's It's not as good as mine right now.
Now there was a time back in the day at BYU when even our guy here, Kalani, was a mustache man. Did you know that?
You were a mustache guy?
I did whatever I could to hide my face from people. So, that was you have a bright future, my man.
Hey, it looks that way. I mean, if this guy had a mustache, then I'm following the right footsteps.
Yeah. The question becomes who wore it better. I think you know.
Well, I don't know if it's much of a question.
Well, you could tell how much power my wife has. There's no more mustache, so.
And then Spencer was a mustache guy for a while too. We could talk. By the way, the role of Spencer in your life. How would you describe Big Brother that way to you?
I mean, he was honestly, you know, I don't want to get emotional, but he really was the big brother that every little kid dreams of. Honestly, yeah. I mean, that's kind of how our relationship was when, you know, I wasn't screaming and crying, trying to run away from him. That's how it was. Is actually us getting along, and he always pushed me to be better, which, you know, I still appreciate to this day because he still does that. He pushes me to be the best I can be, and he shows his love in a lot of different ways, and I don't know, I'm really grateful for him.
Kalani, did you get to know Spencer at all?
Yeah, I watched a lot of film on him too, and the one thing about the Hadley boys, when you watch them play football, they just love it. And if you watch Matt play, even when he's not making the tackles, he is hustling over the ball, and he's so smooth. I mean, I just love watching these guys play, and that's it just looks like that's what they grew up doing. For Matt, it looks like he's just playing in his backyard and having a great time. And the mustache hides the great smile that, I mean, I've never seen anyone enjoy football as much as Matt, and I know his brother played the same way.
I mentioned some of Matt's high school numbers. He was a prolific offensive player up there in Connell. And Kalani said you did spend a little bit of time at running back here too. Where were you more of a natural leaner that way, offensive or defensive football for you?
I think initially coming out of high school was definitely offense. I wanted to run the ball. I felt, I don't know, it really did just feel natural for me to carry the ball, the movements, and you know, and being able to see everything, and it felt like that's what I should have been doing. But I mean, honestly, as time went on, you know, the defensive, as we say, the dark side, it really started to take over, and I came to really appreciate playing defense, and like Coach said, it was really, at that point, it was just, I just want to play football. You know, I mean, I love running the ball, and, you know, they gave me the opportunity in spring ball. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but yeah, I mean, I love playing the game. You still get to get the ball in your hands as a kick returner on occasion too. That's still a part of the game for you. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that feels good. I get antsy. You know, every time we line up there, hoping that they look at me and they think, oh, let's kick it to this guy. He's probably not very fast. And you know, you want. Yeah, exactly. That's what I want. Exactly. Just hoping that they'll kick it to me. All right, life as a linebacker. It's a lot different, a lot more physical than life as a safety. I mean, you see a lot of safeties making big hits, especially in the NFL and even in college, but they don't deal with, you know, the 330-pounders as often as linebackers do, which I've come to learn pretty quick. But I like it a lot. I like being able to be down there and be more involved, and, you know, as we say, touch hats with people and you know, just try to make plays, and it's been a really good experience. Kalani, you like how he handles himself with the big boys? Oh yeah, he's throwing around cows, so he's been dealing with 300-pound animals for a while now, so he's okay. And he's a natural for it. I think that running back the background works for him. It worked for guys like Harvey Longy, and it transitions well for him. He understands the game. Really smart and has a cerebral approach to the game, but he's also he's dangerous. He can hit, and I'm looking forward to him getting the pick and seeing what he can do with the ball in his hands. We do too. All right, we've got more with Matt Hadley coming up, including your questions from both social media and here in the studio. This is BYU Football with Kalani Sitake.
You have everything you need.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, you forgot this.
Thanks.
Hey. You can do this.
Thanks, Dad.
Let's go, Joe! We're gonna be late for the game!
Well, heard mutter. Gotta go. Thank you for watching Cosmo for us this weekend. Now remember, you only like sparkling water, room temperature. Make sure he wears his sweater. Gotta go. Go Cougs! Now we are going to go see a game.
I went to BYU with the intention of finishing my degree. Along the way, things got a little bit busy. I always had that idea that I was going to go back, but as a non-traditional student, I just felt that that opportunity was not going to happen until I explored what BGS really offered. The BGS program gave me more flexibility and gave me the education that I wanted. As I was walking to the podium, it was almost surreal. I don't regret getting my degree through BGS.
Growing up, I don't remember there being a lot of art and culture in Provo. 10 years ago, I was asked to be on a board to revitalize downtown. I am a co-founder and host of the Rooftop Concert Series, a summer series in downtown Provo using our own local musicians. The point is that it's really accessible. It's not only about making our downtown vibrant, but also to say Provo's changed and there is something for everybody now.
But it's something that touches all of us, whether you're in love or you hope to be in love someday.
But we're forever looking for our other half. We're forever looking to reconnect.
It's about experiencing life.
I was head over heels in love with that blonde-haired flat-top boy.
We all need each other, and we all need to give to each other as well.
It's about really learning who you are.
BYU Football with Kalani Sitake is presented by Ken Garff Honda of Orem, a proud supporter of BYU and the Cougar community. We hear Cougs.
We are back here in Studio C for BYU Football with Kalani Sitake, taking a look at our guys who've made it to the NFL. Just from last year's team, we've got some players that are on 53-man rosters and practice squads. Jamal Williams with the Packers, Taysom Hill with the Saints now, and Harvey Longy with the Patriots. Practice squad guys as well. Michael Davis with the Chargers, kind of cool with the Browns. That's just off of last year's team as they join the number of BYU Cougars in the NFL. Welcome back to BYU Football with Kalani Sitake. Visiting with Matt Hadley right now, and Matt, we mentioned some of the BYU players in the NFL, and your brother Spencer was one of those guys for a while. You've talked. What did he take out of his professional experience?
Oh, I guess it would depend on the kind of mood he's in to ask him that question. No, he loved it. He really did. He just loved playing the game. You know, the business side of it all. I don't think the athletes. I don't think they enjoyed that part very much. I don't know. At least coming from him, it wasn't his favorite aspect of it. That's for sure. That's why he loved college, especially so much, is that he was just able to just enjoy the game, and you know, that's what he loved doing there in Oakland.
Now your college career is winding down. You're a senior now. You're one of those guys that played as a freshman and then went on your mission, came back and played some more. And you went to Brazil.
Brazil, yeah.
Gostou?
Gostei.
Yeah.
Com certeza. Gostei.
You were in the northern part of Brazil, were you not?
I was, yeah, the northeast. I was in, my mission was the Salvador South mission. There's some pictures right there. I was probably 170 pounds in these pictures. I got pretty thin. But no, yeah, I was in the northeast. Awesome area, awesome people. Super hot and humid, but, you know, that's normal. A lot of missionaries deal with different weather, right? But it was amazing.
Okay, beleza. All right, your senior season expectations here coming into your last year?
To just have, you know, I don't know. I think personal goals, you know, I have my personal goals, but I think looking at my goals from a team standpoint, I just want to be able to help us get to where we need to be, where we know we can be. And that's a lot better than how, you know, we've been performing at all standpoints. You know, we know that we have so much more to offer, and that's just what I want to do, is help contribute to that and help us progress, and I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. LSU game this past weekend, saw you guys, I think once you guys settled into it, I think you felt like you were, like Kalani said, kind of playing, you know, toe-to-toe with these guys, especially up front. When you look back on that game, when you were in it, now that you've seen it afterward, how do you reflect on what went down in that Superdome?
From a defensive standpoint, you know, I really do think that we were out there for a long time. We were out on the field for a long time, and I starting to see it. I didn't realize it in the moment, but starting to see, I could see that, at least myself, I was getting a little fatigued and I wasn't making the plays that I should have been making. But, you know, early on, I felt like really that we were, once we did settle down, we were able to hang in there with them. And I mean, they're some big and strong and fast boys, but we are as well. And I think once that kind of clicked with us, that, hey, you know, we can smack these guys too. And I think, you know, we started to do that and you know, felt more comfortable and played with them.
Kalani, you agree with that?
Yeah, I think the it's just hard to gauge it, and the score really doesn't say it. But when you watch the film and you watch the physical part of the game, these guys hung in there and they could battle with them, and that's one of the best in the country. And so we just need to get the score to be a lot better and work in our favor this time. And I know that there's a lot of plays that I think Matt feels like he could have made there, but you know, what I value about Matt is his leadership and his approach to responding to adversity, especially after the game. Immediately after the game, you saw these guys try to take over as leaders and just make sure that that's not going to happen. I didn't have to do much as a head coach. These guys are already ready to roll when we came Monday and ready to work and had a great attitude about it. And we've had 2 days of great practices and great prep, so we're excited for this game.
All right, let's now let our fans have their turn with Matt Hadley. It's time for some Q&A here in Studio C, and we start here in our live studio audience. We have, at the mic, Denton Goodman. Hey, Denton.
Hey, can't believe I'm on TV.
Don't blow it.
So my question for Matt and Coach, what did you learn about playing LSU that can help prepare you for playing Utah this Saturday night?
You want to take that first?
Yeah, I think that we've been talking about how much stronger we got as a team, and we should be proud of the aggressive and physical part of the game that we had against LSU. But you know, it's one of those things where you sit there and you try to say, okay, this is what we felt good about, but the score just doesn't really allow you to enjoy that. But the film will prove it, you know. So we just want to make sure, that, like Matt and the players are saying, that we just want to be able to get out there and prove that we're better than what we've been showing the last 2 weeks. We're a way better team than what we showed last week and the week before.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, you know, Coach, he loves to, and this is what we love about him, you know, he loves to give us all the credit. And, you know, he said he didn't have to do much as a head coach and after the loss and everything. But, you know, it's just looking at his example and the way that he handled it, I think, you know, that gave us all a really, really good perspective. And he's always been able to do that with all of us. He's always been able to help us through the adversity and through the good times as well, through the wins, and help us understand that, you know, football, this is a game. This is just a game, but there's a lot more things important. So let's lift our heads up and let's get ready for this next week. So I think playing LSU and having that experience and then seeing the example of the way that, you know, Coach handled it, that really, you know, helped lift us up and get us motivated for this week.
Okay, to Twitter for Matt. This coming from @ZTaylor32. Matt, how many times have you been told you look like Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad, the actor Aaron Paul? Has that ever come up to you?
Oh, all the time, almost daily. Oh yeah, it's now to the point where people can just ask me, "Hey, have you seen Breaking Bad?" And I'll say,
where they're going.
Jesse Pinkman. Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, a lot of times.
You've lived a much cleaner life than Jesse Pinkman. I
say that. Yeah, I do not do the things that Jesse Pinkman does, but yeah, we do look alike.
Well, great segment, Matt. Thanks for coming on and being with us. We wish you good luck this weekend and down the season. Stay with us here through the break. That is Matt Hadley, everybody. Give him a hand, yeah. All right. At Ken Garff Volkswagen of Orem, we're excited to announce our new dealership will be opening its doors in November. Visit our new showroom on University Parkway. Ken Garff, we hear Cougs. After the break, the floor is yours. As the Cougars head coach takes your questions, this is BYU Football with Kalani Sitake.
watching Super Tuesday on BYU TV, presented by Siegfried and Jensen.
If I got hurt and was laid up at home, I wouldn't even think to call a lawyer. What a hassle. I'd want to meet them first.
What if I told you that for your first consultation, your lawyer will come to you, home or hospital?
Really?
Really.
They do that?
If you've been injured, we'll come to you. It's your job to get better. It's our job to deal with the insurance companies.
Learn more at siegfriedandjensen.com.
Next on Studio C, 5 stars, 5 cameras, 5 children. We're having 5 extras that are children. That's nice. I think that'll be nice. Cute kids.
We like our stories bigger and better than they could realistically be.
But it's precisely the sort of funny that you don't want your dad to find out that it was you who did it.
My parents always said to take care of school because school is going to take care of me in the long run. I always wanted to become a dentist since I was a little kid. The plan is to become a dentist if the whole NFL dream doesn't come to fruition, but I've always had the dream of playing in the National Football League.
Etling under center, Williams the tailback. Tight formation, handoff Darrell. Darrell is caught in the backfield and they're not going to get anywhere. A loss of 1 on the play. BYU holds on 4th and goal from the 1. That was the exciting play of the game, presented by Nissan, a proud partner of the BYU Cougars. Nissan, innovation that excites. We're back with more BYU football with Kalani Sitake here in Studio C. That play we just saw late in the game, Kairos Tonga making a big stop, keeping the Tigers out on 4th and goal.
Yeah, great player and just a freshman, so he's got a lot of football ahead of him, but he's learned the game, and the defensive line group have done a great job helping him come along, and he's big too. He's a big boy, so he should be able to do that for us in a lot of plays.
During the commercial break, our live audience got to meet someone special to you, close to you. Let's have the rest of the world meet her. Who do we have here with us?
This is my oldest. She's my daughter. So I have 3 children. She's 13, Sky Marie. So Sky Sitake, that's her right there. Now she's really embarrassed, but so I mentioned that she's 13, so she can't date for another 10 years. And right, honey? No, but she's the only one in the family.
She's loving life now. Oh yeah, that's great. All right, well, it is that time of the hour when Cougar Nation goes one-on-one with the coach, both in our live audience and on social media. We've got live audience questions and Twitter questions ready to roll. And we are going to start this week's session, I believe, right here in the studio. And we are going to Cade Goodman. Cade.
So my question for today is, what does our offense need to do to be successful against Utah? And what does our defense need to do to be more sharp?
Well, the offense just needs to do what they do in practice, you know, and if it means that we have to get more simple and just do what we're good at, you know, that's going to be the key for us. And we've seen it plenty of times in practice, so let's put it together and make sure that everyone does their part. What happens is when things go bad, a player tries to do more than his own job, and we need to focus on doing our 1/11th, you know, and when they try to do their own more than their own job, it doesn't work. And so if everyone does their part, then it should work out well.
Thanks for the question. Twitter now, @RealMattPJ asks, how does your mutual respect with Kyle Whittingham play out on the field during the big game?
Well, it doesn't really have anything to do with the game itself. I mean, I love him. I've said that before, and we're great friends. But I think there's a lot of people here that have competed against the people that they care about, you know. And once the game starts, you go into coach mode and you go into trying to win the game, and then afterwards you deal with it. You deal with the result. You see our friendship is there before the game. It's going to be there after the game. But during the game, trust me, we both want to win, and that's going to be the key for us. And we're just head coaches, so really, what are we going to do? All we're going to do is complain about the refs and take time out to the right time and see what else we can do to make sure. I'm just like devaluing myself right now as a coach, so and try not to get penalties this year. So
back to our live mic. Zach Edmonds is with Kalani. Go ahead, Zach.
And Coach, in your playing days, you were on the offensive side of the ball, and when you first started coaching, you were on the offensive side. What was the transition like going to being a defensive coach? Was that hard? What was that like for you?
Well, I was lucky enough to coach a lot of different positions, you know. So I think I've coached every position except for quarterbacks, and so my perspective, first of all, coaching offensive line, tight ends, and running backs, and playing the position, I think it allowed me to gave me a different point of view and perspective as a defensive coach, you know, and I think that knowing the game from the offensive side helps on the other side, and it's what makes Matt Hadley a great linebacker, is that he understands offensive football. And so you see a lot of defensive players that have played quarterback in high school, and they get into D-line or linebacker or whatever the position, or safety like Kai Nakua, and the game is pretty easy for them. I wasn't that type of player, but as a coach, I think it works that way for me, you know. So, yeah, I think my perspective is different, but it helps out, and we have great coaches that are capable of doing their jobs, and it's just nice for me to be a head coach and to see all different phases and be able to talk to all the different coaches in all the positions and have my unique perspective and my advice on all the things.
All right, more with the coach straight ahead as we head to break. If you're looking for an even more convenient way to shop at Smith's, try Smith's Click List. Order online, pick up curbside at the store. Visit smithsfoodanddrug.com/clicklist for details. More Kalani Q&A coming up after the break. This is BYU Football with Kalani Sitake.
Welcome to a partnership where customer experience comes first. It's our focus. It's your expectation. We provide support to those that go the extra mile for all of us. Supplying products, training, and service for generations. Learn more at bradyindustries.com.
Emmy and Tony Award-winning actress and singer Kristen Chenoweth has wowed audiences in film, TV, and on the Broadway stage. That voice you love from Wicked and Glee will captivate you all over again as she performs at the 2017 BYU Spectacular on Saturday, October 7th. Kristen Chenoweth, along with special guest Gentry and BYU Performing Group's Vocal Point, Men's Chorus, Young Ambassadors, and more. BYU Spectacular with Kristen Chenoweth. Tickets on sale today at BYUtickets.com.
I just love football so much. I don't think I could be without it. If it was up to me, I'd play until I die.
The BYU TV Sports Countdown to Kickoff. Utah versus BYU. Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 Mountain on BYU TV. And App Envy. Watch BYU Sports Nation on BYU TV and BYU radio apps.
I didn't think that would go public.
Have you guys been on our Studio C YouTube channel? We post all of our sketches there, plus some that you won't ever see on TV, and some other fun stuff. So go check it out and subscribe.
Find Studio C on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Connect with us, we'll connect with you.
BYU Football with Kalani Sitake is presented by Ken Garff Volkswagen of Orem, a proud supporter of BYU and the Cougar community. We hear Cougs.
It is our final Q&A segment for the coach as the Cougs get ready to face Utah Saturday at LaVell Edwards Stadium. And we want you to use the hashtag Sitake Show to get your questions in tonight and every night on the program. We go right back to our live mic, and we have with us Tyler Munger. Tyler, you've got the coach.
Hey. So the offensive production has been less than stellar the last 2 games. What would you tell the fans who are worried about the offensive production for this next game?
I think it's okay for you to be worried. I don't tell fans how to behave or how to act, and I don't tell them what they should expect. You know, I think that when I was a fan, I still am, but as a fan, you expect and you want better, you know, and you expect more. And so We as coaches and as players, we've seen it in practice, and we've seen our guys play better than that. And so, so if it looks like we're not as panicked, it's because we get to see it firsthand, and we're there every day and we see it. So that hopefully gives you guys a little bit more comfort. But I wouldn't really care about it until you see it on Saturday, right? And that's my job. And so I'll try to make sure that that shows up on Saturday.
All right, our final fan question. Thank you. You bet. Our final fan question is coming to us from Travis Mortensen at the mic. Travis.
All right, Coach. So when we beat Utah this weekend, what's going to be your go-to dance move?
My go-to dance move. Hey, one step at a time. The last thing we should ever be talking about are my dance moves. So I've already embarrassed my daughter enough, and so my family. But no, listen. Our success, we want to share with our fans, and that's the number one thing. So hopefully we get to enjoy that moment this Saturday.
All right. Closing comments from the coach are straight ahead as we wrap up tonight's broadcast. This is BYU Football with Kalani Sitake.
Son, my father gave this to me when I made the team, and now it's yours.
Oh no, Dad, I'm not on the team. I just got this at the store.
We're so excited. We just bought front row tickets for all of your games.
What?
They were expensive, but anything to support our boy.
Support me in what? I'm not on the team.
You should know. We paid for the tickets with your college fund.
Well, since you're on athletic scholarship now.
Gear so legit, they'll think you're on the team. BYU Store.
Game Day Promos helps BYU build the Cougar brand with customized promotional items, blankets, flashlights, balls, almost anything really, to increase fan loyalty and team support. Businesses can do the same thing, carefully selecting items that Game Day Promos can customize with any brand. The result? Gifts to reward customers. Licensed promotional product vendor for BYU, Game Day Promos. Beyond sports, beyond expectations.
For those not aware, yeah, the coaches pulled off a pretty good prank on us, so we're getting back at them now.
On the phone, Spencer, a rare treat. We have two coaches, Coach Judkins and Coach Detmer.
Yes, and let's throw out a generic question. What's the most important part of coaching your respective teams to victory?
Well, for me, it's having the players watch BYU Sports Nation before every game.
If you guys didn't do the show, we wouldn't win a single game.
Yeah, I agree with you, Coach Detmer. The guys are talented, handsome, and inspire us to be their best every day.
Hi, Johnny, let's be reasonable here. We're just joking.
Here at BYU, you are able to strengthen from a spiritual standpoint.
The BYU TV Sports Postgame, Utah versus BYU, September 9th on BYU TV.
You! My fault?
Your fault.
You're right, it's my fault. Maybe both of us?
All right, BYU and Utah in the annual rivalry game. Complete game day coverage on BYU TV and BYU Radio. There is our rundown. Lots of coverage late into the night on Saturday night. And we are back for our final segment of BYU Football with Kalani Sitake. And we are live every Tuesday night right here in Studio C. You're invited to join us and be a part of the program in studio and on social media, hashtag Sitake Show. And we're going to get to one last Twitter question for the coach tonight. And it is from @StayClassy_94. What are you doing as coaches and players to keep the team motivated and confident to beat the U this week? We know you guys can do it. That goes to you.
Oh, what am I doing to
keep
them confident? This is a confident group, and you guys have met one of our best players and our best leaders, and Matt Hadley, and the group, the seniors are all following his example and the leadership that we have. So I have said it before, I don't have to do much. These guys have served 2-year missions and sacrificed more than a lot of other players have done. So they're mature and they understand what's at stake here. And so our guys are working hard, though. I mean, the focus has been unbelievable this week. And so as far as what I'm doing as a head coach is just trying to just support them as much as possible. And we just know better times are ahead. I mean, we're going to play better this weekend, you know, and we feel confident about that. We feel good about our preparation, and just really excited about put together a complete game in all 3 phases. And enjoying the outcome.
I'm going to try and squeeze one last Twitter question in. At Oregon Agent asks, what do you do and say when your child wants to buy some Ute gear instead of BYU gear and your whole family is BYU alum and fans?
We buy Jazz stuff, right? So.
Let's avoid the conflict altogether.
No. So, I mean, that's not my job to get into the apparel, you know, but I think it's okay to support everybody, and I think that I mean, some of my kids, they know where we're at, and they understand our past, but there's others that don't get it. It's okay, you know, but they'll be wearing blue on Saturday. I can promise you that one.
Maybe just 30 seconds is all. You end media like a day earlier than normal, but is it kind of a normal week for your team schedule-wise? Do you have a typical routine, game week? It's 30 seconds here.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do anything that's out of the ordinary because I like to keep things as fluid as possible, but understanding some of the deficiencies that we had in the last 2 weeks, specifically on the offensive side, we've changed some things up, and we've refocused on a lot of different aspects of our preparation, and it's worked out it's worked out well so far. And so I don't believe that we can keep our mindset is the same, you know, but our focus and maybe how we prep and how we organize things are a little bit more different, and a little different because we have to do that in order to get a different result.
Good luck Saturday night.
Let's go, man.
All right, let's do it. All right, we'll see you next week on BYU Football with Kalani Sitake. BYUCougars.com/Sitake Show to get your seats. We'll see you next Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Good night, everybody.
Hashimoto's is the #1 cause of low thyroid in America. But the problem is it's often overlooked. We don't want a patient just to come in and then leave and then keep coming back to us. Our goal is to get it to where they can control their condition for the rest of their life.
If you have symptoms such as depression, fatigue, headaches, or an inability to concentrate, you may have low thyroid caused by Hashimoto's disease.